Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use, and this happens to be a Friday, Pi Day. Not the pie you can eat, but pi, you know, the symbol that's got the line and the two, looks like Stonehenge. Pi, 3.14, because it's March, the third month of the year, 14th, 3.14, Pi Day. Even though I think pi was not discovered in March. Not to disappoint any pie fans out there. So today, being Friday, no matter, it's an Ask Me Anything. And this is a chance for you to ask me anything. I usually initiate a thread, not just for the patrons who get priority in terms of Ask Me Anything, but I also post a general thread on my Facebook page, or usually. And we had about 90 questions posted there today, although a lot of them were bunk. Many of them were very good, and I hope to be addressing them throughout this broadcast. Let me go ahead and thank the 482 patrons today. We're this close to 500. This close. Like a mouse fart away. So if you were on the fence, consider becoming a patron. Head over to chrispirillo.com for a redirect over to patreon.com/chrispirillo. I really appreciate the patrons' support. Could not do these live broadcasts without them. So I'm going to go ahead and run through the credits and keep talking. I need to let you know, if you live in the Bay Area, that Diana and I will be there next week. Mentioned this for the past 2 days. Hadn't really vlogged it yet. It'll be in the vlog we recorded for today. And then people will find out about it tomorrow when it's posted. I hate editing video. I even had a mistake in today's vlog. I don't know if you guys caught it. Or I'm sorry, not today's, yesterday. The most recent vlog that I edited has a mistake in it. See if you can find it. Good luck with that. Some people just love pointing out my mistakes, and believe you me, I make plenty of them. So we're going to be down there. I was brought in by Intel to moderate a panel discussion at GDC, or the Game Developers Conference, about cross-platform games, something I'm a fan of, if only because there are a lot of platforms out there, and I have a lot of platforms in our home, so it's nice to know that I can get to one game no matter which device I happen to use. I appreciate it, and I'm a casual gamer. Mind you, I'm not like a hardcore gamer, obviously, if you've watched me at any time. So if you live in the Bay Area, stay tuned. At some point in the middle of next week, we'll be announcing some kind of meetup, impromptu, total, I don't know, fun, no agenda time with Diana and me. Diana wants to do it.
I'm so excited.
She's never been to San Francisco before, and I have. I used to live in San Francisco, so stay tuned for that. I also wanted to announce that VloggerFair is accepting registrations. If you want to meet us, as well as a handful of other top vloggers, come up to Seattle, or if you live in Seattle, hey, you're here already. August 16th, 2014, registrations are open, so you can grab seats now, even though we don't really have seats. We do have seats, but it's more of a fair. You know, you walk around and meet each other and collaborate and, you know, just enjoy yourselves. And if you're not enjoying yourselves, wow, you know, you gotta enjoy yourself with life. You really do. Stop, smell the roses, unless you don't like roses. If you don't enjoy roses, don't stop to smell them. Another thing I am going to mention, the LockerGnome shop is open for business. I'm wearing the Captain America hoodie right now. If you want to have your own little geek lifestyle, you can and will enable it with the Pirillo promise. Now, I realize that Captain America did not wear prescription lenses, but I'm not really Captain America, in case you didn't know that. Yeah, it's not really my thing. Never got into Captain America when I was a kid, but I love wearing the uniform. Girls go crazy when I wear this. And I know this because they don't talk to me. That's crazy.
Maybe you intimidate them.
I intimidate. That's the thing. I intimidate them. That's what Diana said. That's why girls don't talk to me a lot. Or when they do, it's an anomaly. So, now that we've thanked everybody, your name could be here in the next live broadcast. Let me tell you that you could have a 30-minute go-to meeting with me if you would like. I will tell you here in just a minute. Can you wait that long?
A minute.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they can wait.
Can I ask a question while we wait?
You could. I have to do a little bit of reading right now, but what's your question?
Oh, you mentioned a mouse fart. I want to know what sound that is.
Oh, what sound a mouse fart is?
You said we were a mouse fart away.
That's more like a wicket fart. Yeah, like that. Like, that'd be awesome if a mouse farted like that. What was that? Something popped. No, it was a mouse fart. All right, now let me go in. Now it's been definitely more than a minute. Not all meetings, nice segue, huh, or can be planned in advance. Things come up like last-minute opportunities, work emergencies, great ideas to discuss. But with people working from different offices or on the go, it can be impossible to get everyone in the same room when you need to meet. So be prepared. Use GoToMeeting by Citrix, the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate online whenever you need to, wherever you are. We use GoToMeeting to help plan for VloggerFair because we have people who work on it, including Liz, who's up in Canada, way on the other side of the continent, really, and she's helping us wrangle not just vloggers, but participants, as well as driving general attention for people who love vlogging, and you may be one of them. So we use GoToMeeting at times to collaborate, and it doesn't happen all that often, but when we need it, it is there. You can sign up for GoToMeeting from your computer or mobile device to launch your first meeting in seconds. Share the screen that you see in real time to collaborate on documents, spreadsheets, and projects. And all you need to do is turn on your webcam to see each other face-to-face. It's kind of like meeting in person. GoToMeeting can save you time and money and lets you work smarter. Start your free 30-day trial of GoToMeeting today. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and use the promo code Pirillo. That's GoToMeeting.com, promo code Pirillo. Now, if you want a meeting with me at GoToMeeting, one of you will get that chance, that opportunity to have a 30-minute face-to-face GoToMeeting with yours truly, and that will be shared in this YouTube channel. You'll also win an Apple gift card valued at $300, courtesy of Citrix. Now, all you have to do to participate or enter is tell me what you'd like to talk about in our GoToMeeting. Propose your idea on Twitter using the hashtag WinPirillo, that's W-I-N, Pirillo, and at GoToMeeting, that's it. Just include those two things in your tweet to qualify. The winner will be announced on March 28th, that episode of this particular show. Apple's a registered trademark of Apple Incorporated. Apple is not a participant or sponsor of this promotion. Make sure you read the ground rules, though, because you have to qualify as a person. I mean, I qualify you as a person, but I think you have to be a U.S. citizen in at least 18 years, and they detailed all the rules and giveaways, and I'll put the link for you, as well as some of the questions I'm answering in this video's description. So, now that I've said everything I think I needed to say, are we done with the broadcast now? Diana asked her question, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
Can I have a sip of your water?
Sure. Oh, sorry. Takes me a bit longer to get
Oh, yeah. She's got the baby bone. I'm sorry. Did I just give you your exercise for the day? I wish I would have grabbed some beforehand. Okay, here. Okay. Earle Greene, a patron, asks, iPad mini with Retina Display 64 gig for $599, that's $600, versus a refurbished iPad mini first gen 64 gig for $419. Current prices at Apple Store online. Good place to buy it from. Which is the better buy? Is a first gen iPad mini still worth it? To me, yes, it is still worth it if you're looking to save money. If you're looking for a faster machine, an empirically better machine, I think you would be happier with the Retina Display iPad mini. That's the newest version. But of course, that's a $200 difference. Are you really going to see that much of a difference in your use? Well, it depends on what you do, right? If most of what you watch are videos, I don't know if you're going to see that much of a difference. You might, but I would be shocked if you did. I really would. If you do a lot of reading on your iPad, it is a possibility that the Retina Display may be worth spending the extra money on. If you already have an iPad mini without the Retina Display, I believe I've said this before, or I will tell you, this is my opinion now, I wouldn't say that it's worth spending the extra money on the new iPad. You wait for a few generations, and then you would want to upgrade, because the first iPad mini I thought was fine. It was workable. Sure, it wasn't Retina Display, it wasn't a speed demon, but it worked for what most people might have used it for. Just average browsing the web, checking email, social networking, and I think you would be just as well served if you want to save money. That is completely up to you, Earl. I could recommend either one of them. It just comes down to, do you want to spend the extra $200? Are you going to see the difference between the two? I probably would, but I guess I'm more of a power user than an average user at that. Lyn Wildwood asks, my parents would like to start using smartphones. Hey, yay. But they are not that tech savvy. What platform or smartphone do you think would be easiest for them to learn and operate? Again, this is kind of relative. No pun intended, right? Relative, parents. It's relative. My parents cut their teeth on the iPhone and iOS. I think it would be very difficult for them to move on to Android. Depends on the types of users they are, I guess. What do you think, hon? Yeah.
Well, I think I believe it was your mom mentioned it. She's so used to the iPhone. That's why she likes
Mom's
it.
used to the iPhone, and that's why she likes the iPad, is what Diana... I don't know if the mic can pick you up, so I'm just trying to repeat it so that other people can hear. If you could hear, I apologize. Didn't mean to speak over you. You know, I guess it just boils down to what other devices they have, if any.
I know my parents like the big screen.
Of the iPad?
No, of the different phones.
Oh, of different phones.
They like the ease of the iPhone.
Okay, so they like the ease of the iPhone, but they like larger screens on other devices like your brother has a Note 3.
Yeah, because they can't see very well.
Right. So, depends on what they're looking for. Depends on how scared they are. Apple, I think, does a fair job. All the access to media, a lot of apps are available on both platforms. The biggest difference, I would say, between, let's say, an Apple device and an Android device is that you can usually, and it depends on where you live, walk into an Apple store to get support. Can't necessarily do that with an Android phone. Google doesn't have a store right now. Samsung, I don't think has stores. HTC doesn't have stores. Any of them really don't have stores. That's the bigger value, because you can get your question answered by someone who's a qualified associate, a genius, if you will, with Apple. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that the only answer to this question is Apple. I'm just pointing out some things that first-time buyers may feel a little safer with. If they want a larger screen at this point, they're probably going to want to go with an Android device. If they want better service, it may be a possibility that what Apple is going to provide is going to be better than any of the alternatives. Just these are things to consider. My suggestion is take them into a store, look at an iPhone. I mean, hopefully you're comfortable with Android, iOS, and Windows Phone, and hand them the phone and see how they kind of fiddle around with it and tap things and do things and see what they like, see what they don't like, and ultimately that is going to give them a better idea of what their comfort level is with any of the devices. But you got to get them hands-on. You have to. Just walk into a store, just say that you're thinking about buying and you're not sure. Don't listen to a sales associate. Do not listen to a sales associate, because you don't know, if they're qualified to tell you one thing or another. They may be pushing someone else's agenda down your throat. Obviously, I was talking about Apple. You're going to go into an Apple store. They're going to tell you to get Apple. Duh. I'm talking about when you're trying all the devices and taking a balanced approach to this. But I can say that for most newer users, I think Windows Phone, Android, and iOS are all doing pretty well across the board, in terms of actual use cases for newer users. Impossible question to answer. Everyone's got their own choice, but it's not your choice. Lynn, it's not your choice. It's not my choice. It's not the 13-year-old boy's choice who's commenting and telling you to get Android, Windows Phone, or iOS in the comments. It is your parents' choice. So help them help themselves. You want them to be able to support themselves with the device that they happen to choose. Jack Stavris, I think that's how you say his last name, asks, do you like beans? Yes, I do. Refried beans. Green beans when they're French cut. Do I like any other kind of beans? Jelly beans sometimes. Do they count? Those are more like sugar droplets, not really beans. Ahmed Nafiz asks, do you think Facebook statuses can take over Reddit AMAs? I do not. However, I'm not going to initiate a Reddit AMA thread every time we do this every week. It's just as easy for me to catch up with it and engage our particular community on Facebook, and I don't even think that most of our community exists on Reddit. No problem with Reddit at all. It's a great part of internet culture. It's just as easy for me to initiate a thread and not have to go through the rigmarole of Reddit. Peter Petropoulos, and I'm not saying Reddit's difficult. I'm just saying I chose to do it here on Facebook and specifically through YouTube. Just wondering, do you like Kiss, the band? Like some of their songs. I'm not obsessed with them. I don't not like them. That's a fair answer. Raymundo Canales asks, do you like turtles? I like turtles. Andy Portia asks, are you getting the new Mac Pro? I am. Not sure if and when I'm getting it. Allegedly, I am, but I haven't seen any documentation either way to prove one way or another that I will be getting a Mac Pro. So it's possible it'll happen, but not guaranteed. Yudhish Ks asks, why have you stopped doing phone reviews? One, they're kind of stressful. Two, I don't get my hands on a lot of the phones that are out there. Never really was a phone gadget guy as much as other people. What do you think, hon? Why don't I do more phone reviews? I think it's stressful because some people...
You get scolded.
I get scolded, yes, easily. And I don't want to face that stress. Some people, when it comes to reviews, they're looking for my opinion, but a greater majority as opposed to a greater minority, a majority of viewers out there, users, not necessarily a core part of the community, aren't looking for my opinion as much as they are looking for me to validate their opinion. And I don't want to chase that kind of content, generally. There are exceptions to the rule, and I found that doing reviews or highlights of leading devices, say like an iPhone or a Google Nexus product, flagship devices, gets me a little further. I feel better with those than I do just the average phone. And that may change over time as we are able to build up the patronage. I may be able to bring other people aboard who really do care about phones at a substantially deeper level than I do. I love gadgets, but never have loved them to the point that some of these people do. I've never have been that way, and I cannot be what those other people are because I am myself. And that's all I can be is myself. Speaking of myself, my dad, well, it's not really myself. My dad, who is a relative, he walked into the room to remind me that everybody has a chance to get some iTunes gift cards and potentially PayPal money, Xbox points. What do they call them these days? Coins? No, not coins. Points. Points still? I think they got rid of the system. Oh, credits or whatever. PlayStation Network credits. I think that's fair. Credits. You can all do this right now. Head over to go.tagjag.com/free points. Just do it, and you can use it on iOS or Android. You can use it in the US or UK. It's a great way of earning free stuff for free. Free stuff for free. I've been using it for some time. I used some iTunes credits last night to buy Les Miserables. I now have the digital copy through iTunes, and for the most part, got it for free. Didn't have to pay anything for it. Just earned the free gift card by way of that app. Easy to use, easy to run, and hopefully you can start earning credits as well. Whatever app. I mean, they've got, let me see if I can pull it up. 7-Eleven? If you download the 7-Eleven app, you can get credits. That's pretty awesome. Tons of rewards. Apps that would normally cost you money, you can get for free by way of redeeming your points. Mike Bobbitt asks, do you like Darth Maul? I don't not like Darth Maul. I wish that he would have not been killed in the first episode of the prequels, but I was happy that he came back in the Clone Wars, if only because, we kind of fleshed out his character a bit more. I think more people wanted Maul to survive, and I was glad that even though he was bisected, he was kind of brought back to life, even though I guess he didn't really die. Did you know that Palpatine, the Emperor, at the end of Return of the Jedi, when he gets thrown down the shaft by Darth Vader and goes, no, after the re-edit, he goes, no, and he goes in the shaft?
Yeah.
The Emperor dies, the body's dead, but he had clones, so Palpatine actually lived on past the movie, the Emperor. It's not very well known, but it is true. Andreas Constantin... No, let me try this. It's Greek. Andreas. Got that one. Constantopoulos. If you were a hot dog and you were starving, would you eat yourself? I would eat myself, but not relish it. It was a little hot dog joke. Because I don't like relish at all. Love dill pickles. Love dill pickles. Love dill. Relish is too sweet. Don't like the sweet stuff. Illyrian Luta asks, have you ever slept in the kitchen? I have not. Microwave's really not that comfortable. I've laid my turned on the oven and laid my head in there, but never really. I'm kidding. I've never done that. Kathy asks, do you play World of Warcraft? Why not? I did briefly, and I get it. I understand its value, but I just didn't get into it. Not really a gamer so much. Not like that. I'm a casual gamer. So no, I never really got into it. It's just not my thing at this stage. Maybe if I was younger and video games were what they are today, I might have gotten into it. I can see how it sucks up people's lives and eats them alive. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. I remember the South Park episode. Wasn't that a World of Warcraft thing where, it was disgusting. It was bad. I think they got caught in World of Warcraft. I don't, it's been so long since I've seen the South Park episode. And I guess South Park has a game now. The Stick of Truth? Is that what it is? I'm no longer hip. I never was in the first place. Georgie Nikolov asks, are you going to allow your child to play any kind of game? Oh, speaking of games. Even the overaged. This is a good question. I don't know. Depends on the game. All right? It depends on its value. Depends on if I believe the child can handle it. I haven't faced that decision yet. I know if Minecraft is still a thing, I'm sure the child will be Minecrafting. No doubt. I just have this feeling. Male or female, they will be. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
What are you hoping for? She's hoping they go into karate. To defend themselves. To beat you up when you don't give them a cookie. I don't think it's very intuitive, but, hey. If the child wants to beat people up for defense, let them do it. I don't know. Haven't crossed that path. Stephen Daniel DeHue asks, would you like to be CEO of Apple one day? Nope. Couldn't handle it. I don't even like being the CEO of my own company. It's not something that I enjoy doing. The business day-to-day operation stuff, it's not fun for me. And for years, I would have hoped to have found a CEO who could do things better than I could. And ultimately, I found out that I'm the best CEO and president. I've never, not once, never called myself CEO. Never. I've always been president. Never called myself CEO. I don't know. To me, especially in a smaller business, calling yourself CEO is a bit pretentious. Kind of like, I'm CEO. Well, dude, you're the only employee. I'm a CEO. Oh, you have 50 people. Great. I'm glad. You're the business owner. That's fine. I guess to me, a CEO is a high position that is a title that you earn by your experiences. And unfortunately, I don't think that is always the case. Especially larger the businesses, I think you need a CEO because you got larger enterprises. Would my business need a CEO? I don't know. I guess I'm the director, president. I don't know. I've never seen CEO as a very valuable title. I mean, when someone says I'm the CEO, I'm like, oh, congratulations, good for you. What do you want? Pat on the back? It's a title to me. Titles are titles, and I don't get caught up in them. Anytime someone tells me their title, I'm like, they could have lucked into it. It could have been nepotism. They could have made their own title. You don't know. Titles do not impress me. Never have. Absolutely never will. Your experience, however, impresses me. But no, to answer the question, now that I've gone on an offshoot, I would not want to be the CEO of any company. Apple, certainly not. Microsoft, definitely not. Josh Robinson, and I say that. I got to clarify. I don't hate Microsoft. I'm just saying that Microsoft, I think, is in a tougher market position than Apple right now. Each of them is in difficult positions, but for completely different reasons. And I think Microsoft's in a tougher position in what it needs to do in the coming years to really reassert itself in the marketplace, at least as far as consumer technology is concerned. Josh Robinson throws me an easy one. Kirk or Picard? Picard. I liked Kirk. Kirk was okay. Certainly, I think, though, I liked the original cast, or the original Star Trek Enterprise cast in the movies, more than I like the Next Generation movies. I will say that. But in terms of a captain, I would give this one to Picard. I always liked Picard. Ray Sanchez. How many iDevices are there in your household? I can tell you that we have more Android devices than we do Apple devices. Let's see here. iPad mini, iPhone, and you have an iPhone, iPad. So that's 5? Okay, 5. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, no, 14. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, 15. And Moto X. 16. We have 16 Android devices. So, in case you guys aren't really familiar with the whole math thing, 16 is greater than 5. We have more Android devices in this house than we do iDevices. I know this is freaking people out. They're like, what? You can't own Android devices. You can't like more than one thing.
I love both of mine.
Diana loves whatever she sees, though. So don't really take that as any endorsement at all. She sees something and she wants it. We'll be out and about. She's like, oh, I want to ride the bus. I want tacos. Hun, you just ate. You just ate and threw up tacos and you want them again? That's because I see them. I'm serious. She sees something. She wants it. Kirk Broyles asks, do you think Apple should make an iPhone with a larger screen like the Note from Samsung? I'm tossed up on this. I think it would be interesting to see how Apple would go that direction. I like the iPhone for the single-handed operation, but I do like the Note 3 because of the larger screen. I do, and I've said this. We even said this in our review. And it turns out that my battery problems with the Note 3 during the review likely tied into Skype, apparently. I should not have installed Skype. That's something that I learned. But I like the Note because of its large screen. Here, there's the battery. I'm still waiting for the new, I guess, KitKat update to come out, and it has not yet. And I'm really disappointed because I want to see KitKat on here. Let's see here. About device, software update. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Is it going to update now? Maybe? No, device is up to date. Do not have KitKat on my Note 3 yet. So it would be interesting to see Apple's version of a phablet. If they think it's a possibility, yes. And I don't think it would necessarily take away from the current form factor of the iPhone either. Because look at what they did with the iPhone 5C. Not a great seller. I think they really screwed the pooch with the 5C. The value of the 5S, though, this form factor, I think they could easily introduce a device that, is completely, radically different, yet as flagship as the smaller iPhone, as a larger iPhone, and still get away with it. Then they would be appeasing both sides of the market. I don't know which one I would go with either. That would be my question. Which one would I go with? I don't know. I like the comfort and portability of single-handed operation on the iPhone 5S. I've been happy with it. But as I said, each device has its own merits. I don't use the S Pen on my Note 3 that much, so I'm not necessarily. I am not looking for a stylus. I didn't have to say necessarily. I threw that word in there because I'm an English major. Not anymore. I graduated already. South Park has another game. They had an N64 and PS1 title, but yeah, a major game release recently. Chris Eldridge said in the live comments. Oh, Ryan Bragg told me, yeah, it was the Stick of Truth, so I am kind of hip still. Whew. My God. I was a little worried about that. It's always good that when I say something, I'm actually speaking from a point of intelligence rather than, out my ass. Generally not a good thing to do, and a lot of people do. They just talk right out their ass. Or they might as well. I've seen their videos on YouTube, and hearing them talk out of their ass would be more entertaining than half the stuff that other people do. Hopefully you find me more entertaining than someone talking out of their ass. Or informative, at least, answering these questions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them today, but I will keep them, the ones that I'm not able to address for the next AMA next Friday. We'll be back here. Diana and I will be in San Francisco in the middle of the week, as I said before. Mom and Dad are still going to be here, keeping an eye on Wicket and Pixie in the house, so we're happy about that. Anything else you'd like to say before I take my last question?
I don't think so.
All right.
I hope they can make it to San Francisco.
This is your choice, choice. This is your chance. You had a choice whether or not to answer. This is your chance, because we don't do video every day,
Okay, come to San Francisco.
Hun, we do a video every day.
Oh,
Do.
yeah.
I said do. Last question. Jimmy Cortez asks, I am going to interview in an Apple store. What do you suggest I do to prepare for it? I wish they had Apple stores when I was growing up. I know I've said this before. I wish they had Microsoft stores when I was growing up. I wish I could have worked at even a Radio Shack now that they're going the way of the dodo. Dying breeds, really. I did work at Best Buy. That was mind-numbing. I've already detailed that in another video, though. I know that I didn't have great experiences there. But if you're going to interview, I think the secret to answering questions is learning how to listen. Be yourself. Ultimately, don't overpromise. If anything, underpromise and overdeliver. So if you don't know something, if you don't understand something, at least don't put it out there. Admittedly, when I was talking about the South Park game or some of the things that I may not be unclear with, at least I qualified that I wasn't quite sure about that. You don't have to know everything. Be yourself. Be confident. Be clean. Be courteous. And listen. But I would say that for any person who is doing any kind of job interview. If you have a resume, what you could do. Here's what I would do. If you can write well and you can participate, I don't know if they would do this necessarily, but if you could show you answering a question that someone asked online and you answered it in a very professional way, a very clear way, in a cogent way, and your answer was correct, I think it's a great way of showing your experience, the fact that you can interface with other people, even if you're online. To me, that would mean a lot. If I was doing an interview for like a store like that, for customer service or whatever it happens to be, if someone came in and printed out pages upon pages of their interactivity in internet forums and showing, look, here's how I answered this person's question, here's how, and they wrote very clearly, they can communicate well, helpful, all the way down the line, that would mean a lot to me. But I'm not an Apple Store interviewer, what do I know? Just a suggestion. And all the more reason you guys should be courteous and intelligent when you're communicating online. Don't try to backtrack, because that could come back and bite you in the ass too. They may go and look for your usernames online and go, we do not want to hire this guy. Let me put it to you this way. I've seen a lot of comments that if I ever backtracked it to and I ever had a choice of whether or not to, I've had people ask me if I could give them a job, and I've seen some of the stuff they do, and I'm like, no, no way. Even all the way down to how they disagree with other people. It speaks volumes. Your reputation is everything, no matter who you're interviewing for. So always be mindful of that. Always be courteous. Always be kind, and do your best to be helpful. And hopefully some bit of knowledge that I imparted upon people today was somewhat helpful. Although I know I'm going to take lumps for not taking a stance on choice of smartphones or iPads or what have you, but these questions are very, very difficult to answer. I gave you some options that would help lead that person to a better decision, because ultimately I don't have to live with those choices, you do. And I appreciate you making the choice to watch this deeply into the video. I appreciate all of the patrons out there making TLDR possible, making it possible for me to do more over time and grow my team beyond where it is today, and potentially do more on-location shoots. That would be fantastic and fun, and hopefully we'd be able to meet face-to-face at some point in the future. At this point, let me just say thanks again for remembering to like, comment, share, subscribe, watch even more of our videos right now, if you can, in this channel or the other one, the classic one that's now just for vlogging. This one is for the Geek Lifestyles, hence the username if you didn't click the subscribe link yet. Oh, look, it's a Geek Lifestyles channel, or wherever YouTube put the button, somewhere. Thank you again for that, and at this point, I guess, now that I've hit the other point, I said at that point, this point, at this time, I'm just going to leave you to your own devices. We'll you later.